Right, well, we've got a very interesting night tonight. As usual, I've got an empty sheet. I'm always going to do this and do that and write notes. And then, no, it doesn't seem to work that way for me. I know we've had a short break, and so some people haven't remembered. But you know what? Whoever is here is meant to be here. And I think it's going to be very eventful tonight. So, the main thing, first of all, I want to say that from the moment that you are connected here, your thoughts and your whole mind, body, and soul is in another place. So, from the moment we connect to this meeting, this gathering, this coming together of like-minded souls, you are up in another place. So healing starts as soon as you are in here. This has been called a sacred site, not by me, but by researchers. But it is a sacred place to me. You know, to me, this is my sacred place. It's where no one else comes and where the energies keep gathering and gathering and gathering. So sacred site in my world is just special. And I think making sure that you keep it special for you is really important too. You know, I sit in here every day, or my mind connects in here every day. And if I don't, I definitely feel the difference. I can definitely feel I'm not so perky, I'm not so, I don't know, bubbly. The thing is, I honestly believe that the higher energies, especially ones that I'm going to talk about tonight, definitely like people light-hearted, happy, not always constantly worrying whether you get the words right, whether you're saying things right. I never get the words right, and I never, ever do anything any good to a script. But what I do, I get the feeling across, and people know when they're sitting with me that they are part of it. So one thing I can do, I can get to these places, I can bring those energies down, I can help you be part of it. And so, okay, I make mistakes and I don't say the right words and I'm not intelligent, but who cares? At the end of the day, we're going on a journey that a lot of people, when they know all the right words and they know what to say, can't go where I go. So I think I'd rather be called, well, I won't say some of the things I've been called, but I'd rather be the way I am then. And, you know, I really believe that when we're children, before we have everything knocked out of us, oh, you can't possibly have seen this, you can't possibly have heard that. But Mum, I did. You know, when you're small and when you're in a little world of your own, you can't possibly know how to make all these things up. You know, you just, your brain is not ready that way. It's not been formed in that way. Even the patterns, the brain patterns that our brain gets into patterns, even our patterns of our brain are not formed that way at 6. So where are we going? Where are these children going? Where are they seeing? and they're laughing and they're, you know, and they're happy because they can feel something and be part of something that, unfortunately, especially the world is as it is now, has knocked it out. It's just knocked it out. And I really, really believe that part of getting through these hard times and getting out of this negativity, being part of this space, whether you've got any qualifications or not, what the heck, you know, being part of it, being at one with it and recognizing it and bringing it nearer and nearer and nearer until in the end, you don't know where one ends and one begins. And I love it. I don't like the real world much, but then we're in the middle of nowhere. We've got goats, you know, I mean, we can go to the shops, but basically away from all that stuff that fills all your left brain up. And then your left brain, how can your right brain run free? How can it run free when it's so restricted with being pulled down and pulled down? The answer to everything, the answer to everything is letting that right brain run free. And I've helped so many people over the years, and people say, well, how do you do this and how do you do that? And I quite simply say, well, I just shut down the left-hand side of my brain, shut it down, let my right-hand side run free, and whatever you program me, whatever you ask me to do, I will go and see if I can find it. And it's as simple as that. And I don't want to know anything else. I don't want to complicate it. Why should I? I don't want to. And why I'm saying this is because there's so much pressure put on people. You've got to learn this, you've got to do this, you've got to do this. And I say, well, by the time you've worried about and learn all this and worrying if you're doing this and worrying all you're doing it, how the heck are you going to let your right brain fly? It's thinking. No, get your basics, what you need to know. Be sensible, find somewhere peaceful, even if it's in the garden shed. Find somewhere that is a place for you where you can practice. And one of the things that I found years ago, and I don't know where it come from, but I think I do now, I didn't know for years where it come from, was the idea of my left eye going into the right-hand side of my brain. It kept coming into my mind because, you know, you can't keep yourself open all the time. You can't be walking around, you know, eye as a kite, feeling all this stuff coming towards you. You've got to be sensible. You've got to learn to cut it on, cut it off, like a telly, switch it on, switch it off. And you need a key. What is the key? What is the key? And I used to ask things in my mind all the time. How do I do this? And how do I do that? And then I'd get the answer to it and off I'd go. I wouldn't ask again. Why would I? You know, one question, one answer, and I run with it. And so this left eye going into the right brain, what do you do? What does it do for you? Well, it doesn't do anything if you don't do what is meant to go around it. So what is meant to go around it then? These are the questions that people keep asking me. They keep asking me, so they must need to know. So, right, what is the secret? Simple again, but you have to be in a peaceful place that is peaceful for you. Noise, banging, shouting, drilling, no. You've got to find somewhere where nothing is going to bring you back. Because If you know in the back of your mind that someone's going to be banging on the door or something like that, you don't let go. You can't let go, because all the time you're sort of, it's like being on call when, when the baby cries in the night. You hear the baby crying before the baby cries. You hear the door banging before the door bangs. No, you can't be in that situation. So get your situation. And then when you've got your situation, then what helps you relax? Well, you can't be cold, you can't be too hot, and you can't sit on a crinky chair that makes your back ache. Get yourself comfortable, get yourself some music, and then get your mind stronger, get your communication stronger. Your mind, there's only one person that can make your mind strong, and that's your own self. No one else can do it. You got to do it. I can't do it. I can tell you what I've learned and make it easier for you. But if you think you're going to sit there and it's going to happen on its own, dream on, kid, because it ain't. You got to say, right, I'm going to go for this. I want to do this. If something keeps coming in your mind that you want to do it, is because something is telling you that it's a path for you. If something keeps saying, oh, you know what? I keep thinking about that. I keep thinking about that. Well, why do you? Because something is saying that is your path. So therefore, how many times do you want to hear it? How many times have you got to keep bang, bang, bang? Go for it. You're going to get the mickey taken out of you. You're going to get people say you're mad. You're going to get people say you're stupid. And when you hear my next story later on, you'll know for sure. So what? What are you going to do then? Be a sheep and be like everyone else and be miserable and not fulfill your destiny? Or say, you know what? No, I don't care. This is something that's inside of me. Now, this is what I've learned. And trust me, I have walked the path. I have been called everything that you could be called. And you know what? I was going to say something there. I don't care. It doesn't touch me. I am not in the least bit bothered. As long as I've got my space I can go and my peace that I can work and my little place, over my head. And you know why? Because I have done so much with my right brain. I have got so much testimonials, so much testing, so much that I put myself through. Why do I care? I don't. So therefore, go for it. Don't tickle it. Either do it or don't do it. Get yourself somewhere to work properly. And if you know that somebody in the house is not into what you're doing, take yourself out of the house. Go and sit on top of a mountain somewhere, or anywhere where you can be at one. Now, so you've got everything all in a row, and now off we go. We've got our music, we've got our peace, we've got our thoughts. Everything that we think once you're at one is living. So once you're saying, I'm ready now, you're listened to. You're ready now. And now your key, remember, the thought is the deed. So the very fact that you're saying, you're thinking about your left eye going into your right eye, remember, the scene is set. You're in. Don't overthink it. Don't worry about it. You're already there. And then it's about the breathing. Boy, is the breathing very, very important. I've got different ways of breathing for different things. I breathe fast, I breathe slow. I go further away, I come back, I go into the past, I go into the future. I mix everything all up. I've got a whole little sympathy going on. And I've done it so much, it's just boink, 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 boink. Because I practice and practice and practice until I can virtually do it pink. Now, that's what you've got to do. You can read about all these things as much as you like. If you don't practice and get your brain familiar with it, you're going nowhere. So here's your destiny. You want to do it or you don't want to do it? Do you want to be part of the sanctuary, which is the sounding board, the sounding board of all the energy? This is your springboard. This is what's going to help you spring off. Now, where you spring then is down to you. So I had to say this because people keep asking me, and I thought, well, I'm obviously, because I do it all the time, I'm not being precise enough. You see, it's like everything. A musician, somebody that's writing a song, he don't stop every time and saying, I am now doing this, I am now doing that, because he's at one with it. He's like, dee, 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 dee. You see what I mean? And so I'm sorry if I haven't. I thought I had, but I obviously haven't. Now, what I would like to do is just, if I open my mouth, I always have something to prove it in the background. Not a qualification, no, but an experience that I can back it up with. I can't stand, if you're going to put yourself out there to help people, they must trust you, and they trust you not for the piece of paper with a load of see nothing on it. They trust you from what you say you've done with it. And this is why, unfortunately, I don't really fit the run of the norm in the organizations. I get on everyone's nerves. I don't do anything by the book, and I'm a bit of a rebel. It's the hardest way, but I can't see how I can allow myself to be taught and regimented by people that haven't done what I've done. I'm sorry, but I can't. I can't have somebody saying we've got to do this, and I'll say, well, you know, what have you actually done? Oh, and they get, well, oh, well, I've learned this and I've got this, and I'm going, yeah, but what have you done with it? And I'm not being horrible, because most of them are overripe. They probably didn't need none of that in the first place. If they'd have spent as much time training their brain and getting their direction from a higher place right from the beginning, they wouldn't need all that. Because the answer to this path is to love people enough to want to help them, to dedicate your life. Well, I've done 40 years of it now, and I've done 40 years of no proper holidays. I don't know, I've just always been on call, I suppose, and it just got more and more and more. But then I must have loved it, otherwise I wouldn't have kept doing it, would I? So there you go. And that's the other thing. Love your work. If you don't love it, you're not going anywhere with it. It's always going to be a rope round your neck. And what I used to do anything that would earn money. Well, not anything, but, anything that would earn money, like, well, I've worked in a handbag factory, cutting straps. I've worked in a fuzzy felt factory, putting the fuzzy felt in. And trust me, that was more difficult for me than this. I was always putting the wrong animal in the wrong slot. They knew what number I was, because they always had to do it again. But I didn't care, because I was earning some money, and that money was helping me to do what I wanted. And that's what you've got to say. Do anything that can keep you. We've all got to be fed, watered. Nobody's just going to say, oh, I'm learning and do this. Oh, well, can you pay for it? No, sorry, you ain't going to get anything. No, you've got to do it yourself. And so I've shared this with you because I'm telling you the truth. I am. It's hard work, but it's lovely work. And the results and some of the people's lives that have been changed, not by me, I'm just the little thing in the middle that go up, remember? I go up, put my brain up, fill it up with what's needed and come back, because that's what I've learned how to do. But something is filling it up. It isn't me. Something always fills this brain up, as long as this left brain is comfortable enough to leave the building. In other words, the left brain, your body, has got to be comfortable, got to be in the right circumstances to allow this to happen. So there's somebody sitting up there in the corner. I can see you. Does that answer what you wanted to know? Nod. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Because you know what? It's not just answering you, though, is it? You know, at the end of the day, if somebody keeps asking questions, there's all a lot of other people that want to know this. Now, I've got I was going to, this is it, you see, this is why I've got an empty sheet. I was going to do something else, but I haven't got to it yet, because it's always the base, isn't it? It's the foundation. If you don't get the foundation right of your house, if you don't get the foundation right of your relationship, if you don't get the foundation right of your work, how's anything else going to work? It ain't, is it? Is it? You can't even make a car go if it hasn't got any petrol in it. Well, that says it all, doesn't it? So now I hope this is going to work, Andrew. We've tried. I can see you over there. Right. I hope this is going to work. I hope this is, I think what we decided, Andrew, the recording, because we know the story, was brilliant. Right, because we could fill it in, the missing bits, but the recording for the other people, because they don't know the missing bits. So what I've decided to do, because we know the journey, and trust me, I remember everything about you, Andrew. We had one hell of a journey, didn't we? Right. Oh, I'm going to die. I'm going to, because, oh, for God's sake, Andrew, shut up. You ain't going to die. I'm sick of hearing you're going to die. If you don't shut up, I'm going to kill you. Do you remember? Sorry,
I do.
but I go to every means at my disposal. If somebody needs a kick, I kick. And you had plenty of those, didn't you? I just got to tell you something funny. This was funny. Andrew, do you remember the time when I didn't put the pegs properly into the healing bed? And you got on the bed. I know it was awful. He got on the bed, bearing in mind he'd been given some bad news and he wasn't in a very good way. He got on the bed, and the next thing, he was sort of sliding down the wall. The bed collapsed. And oh God, I know it's awful. I couldn't stop laughing. The tears was rolling down my face and yours. Anyway, you forgot all about dying, didn't you, Andrew? You was more. You said to me, "I think you're trying to kill me," you know. Anyway, but what happened? We got on a whole different level, didn't we? He was so relieved that I hadn't killed him that he got into the thing that he wanted to live, and off we went. So, can you? Are you unmuted now, Andrew?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Can everybody hear Andrew? Right, Andrew.
Okay.
Who's gonna start? I'll just bring you in. I'm gonna behave myself if I can. Okay. Now, I remember, and I don't need it. I've got nothing written down. I remember all these stories. Now, when you came to see me, Andrew, you'd had about 15 biopsies or 14 biopsies, haven't you, up in Bristol?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Yes,
I had loads of endoscopies.
Well,
and
either
biopsies.
way, we won't count a few more here and there, but that's how I remember it. Anyway, you came into my office and I don't think you'd ever been anywhere like that before. And you didn't really know what to expect, did you? You certainly got a lot more
Well,
than what you expected over the next few months. Anyway, so he came in and you said that you wanted to know what was wrong with you, didn't you? And I
I
said, just
did.
wait a minute. So off I went, just off I went, off, come down like that, come down like that. Whoa. And I went, phew. And I remember all down here. And I said, I can feel a ball of fire. Do you remember? And I said, that
Yeah.
ball of fire is about to, you know, burn. And then that's when you said to me, oh, well, I've had all these biopsies, you know, I've come to see what you thought. And you said, oh, I don't know as I like that. And I said, I'm sorry, you shouldn't have asked. I said, it's not my fault, you shouldn't have asked. Anyway, and I said, I think I said about your liver as well not working properly. I can't remember. I was more focused on that. Anyway, and I said to you, didn't I? I said, I think you better go back and have some more checkups. And I said, when you do, you'll know where I am. And you weren't horrible to me or anything like that, but off you trotted. Anyway, I could feel you were disappointed. He said, oh, yes, you did. You said, oh, I was hoping you were going to tell me you were all right. And then that's when I said again, well, you shouldn't have asked. Anyway, so anyway, off you went. And I think it was, what was it, 6 weeks later, Andrew, you come trotting back? Wasn't that
Probably,
long?
yeah, I don't know exact dates, but I definitely became a regular on seeing you because I needed to see you basically
Well,
because I
they
just
gave
always,
news, didn't they? They after telling you that there was nothing to worry about, they gave you some news that we're going to operate, we're going to take some of your stomach up the esophageal wall and all this, that, and the other. And you said, "Oh, hang on a minute, I know where I'm going." You needed time to think. So anyway, you came in, told me the latest, and I said, "Listen." I said, I'm going to try and calm it down and put it to sleep, remember?
yeah,
And so I said, that is my aim. Anyway, so bottom line is, when you went for another checkup, the specialist said, it does seem calm and it seems as if it's sleeping. Do you remember? Seems as if it's gone to
yeah. I
sleep.
mean,
But anyway, and I think it had shrunk a little bit, but obviously was still there. Now, I can't tell people what to do. And the what people are offered now is the chemo. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a specialist. I say, hey, you know what? I can't get involved with that. Anyway, the long and the short of it, after it went calm, you went and had your chemo, but then what happened? Oh, I know what I said to you. I said, I'm a bit worried about your liver being able to cope with it, remember? And I get the
yeah,
phone call from your wife. You didn't know because you were out of it in intensive care, not expected to last the blinking night. So, because your liver, remember? And I thought, right, Andrew, you're not blinking, not doing this to me. So all night I was like, oh, you know, I was like in and out of sleep, in and out of sleep. It was the weirdest night ever. Anyway, the next day you came round and you said to your wife, cool, I had a dream last night. Carol was moaning at me all night. Anyway, I'll leave you to continue the rest because the thought of you ever going to emigrate, which I kept saying that you were going to go abroad. You remember? You goes, no, I'm not. I'm not going to make it. Now I'll leave you now to say about what the specialist said about your liver and about how well you were. I'll leave you now, Andrew. Your turn.
Thank you very much for letting me talk. Uh, yeah, no, a couple of things I really want to sort of add to that was that, yeah, the prognosis even on the operation was that, the doctors were so negative. I mean, they just, I think to do with the I can't even say it, the esophagus and the cancer, they were very, very negative. I think the only thing they said, oh, anything in your favor is, you're young. But yes, and then the operation was completely stuffed up because I was in intensive care for a few days. And again, yes, they sort of said that I probably wouldn't last the night. So that's when Robin called you. But anyway, so then I mean, you always seem to be ahead of what the doctors were saying. I mean, you were said, yeah, it's smaller, it's sleeping. And then the doctors also sort of said, oh, okay, this endoscopy, oh, it's looking, it's better. And in the end, the doctors, after the operation, after everything, after I don't know, 3, 4 months afterwards, after being negative, they were talking about miracles. It was them. They are the one who used the word. And I was a bit skeptic. I am an academic, so I mean, for me, it is about the other side of the brain. But this is why I think we get on because I'm just so interested in learning. But anyway, so I got over that chapter in my life. But then, for some reason, the drugs they had put me on flared up my liver, as you said, and then so then they said, "Oh, you've got a problem with your liver." And rather than saying, "Oh, you might not last the night," they now said, "Well, you probably only got a year to live." Two different doctors or specialists said this. If we can't do something about this liver, it'll turn into cancer, and then you've got less than a year to live. And then they said, "But we don't really have any medicine for this. You can be a guinea pig." And we can put you on steroids, but we don't, this is all, you'll be one of the first people to do this. And then they also said, well, you've also got to wait because we're going to bring your immune system right down so then we can put the steroids on. But we got to wait until make sure that the cancer doesn't come back from the esophagus. So this, it was all, for me, it was just mental nightmare. And I think my only sort of real hope and positivism. And yes, the laughter was visiting you and feeling that I was sort of being part, or we were being part of taking control of my health and my life. And I thought that was important because the gaps between hospital appointments and the gaps between them waiting before they could start new drugs was just, it went on for so long and it was so demoralizing. And yes, the hospital was always negative or maybe realistic about my chances. But I mean, I said, you never promised anything in the sense that, you could do this or do that. But I always came away positive after I sort of met you. And then even today, I mean, even a year ago, I met a liver specialist and he came and shook my hands and he said, I have never met anyone that has survived what you have. So congratulations. And, I'm glad I've met you because basically we had a zero success rate on this process of taking steroids. So again, I think it's a lot to do with you, Carol, if not everything, because my experience with the medical, I mean, they did what they did, and but I still feel your help brought the whole thing round, and definitely whatever your gift is. I mean, you've saved my life, and this is now over 30 years ago. So I'm still this walking miracle today,
Saved your
living
life, but
proof.
nearly killed you on the healing bed. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for sharing. Now, I don't think that it would bother you when you say whatever your gift is. I don't think it would bother you when you were so ill. If I said I was talking to an alien on the end of your bed, would it?
Yeah.
No. So we're going to get to um, there was a few other things, but you know that in comparison, that's faded away with that story, hasn't it? You know that without that story, you wouldn't be here to tell the tale of the other little bits and bobs that went on. So thank you so much for sharing, Andrew. I know it's not easy to sit there and talk about all your but you know, sad experience, but was it sad? It's amazing, really, you know. So you obviously weren't meant to pop off, were you, Andrew?
Well, it's true. I kept thinking I was going to die every week I saw you. I kept saying, "Oh yes, I'm going to
Oh,
die," you know.
I know. I said, oh, for God's sake, stop talking about dying, Andrew. Oh, anyway, can you mute yourself now? We'll talk later on WhatsApp. Right. So now we're going to remember what I said to you in the beginning, an empty piece of paper, and you're getting healing all the while. And you know something? The best form of healing is laughter. Who wants to sit in a room with a miserable codger? I mean, I'm sorry, but if you sit in a room with somebody that's miserable, what do you feel like? And by the time they've finished, if you're happy when you go in, you certainly are not happy when you come out. So yes, I do have a laugh, but it's not that I'm laughing at people's sadness. I'm trying to, you know, bring them up, get into that, you know, get their immune system perked up, get them away from, oh, you're going to die next week, you're not going to last another year. It's, you know, I'll do anything. I do anything to bring them up. Now, aliens. Now, I love aliens. I don't talk about them as much as I could have talked about because it's a long story, and it was hard enough dealing with all my other things that I saw. And I suppose it was private to me. It was my own private journey. But aliens, make no bones about it. People say, oh, you know, we're going to see this and see that. We already do. But we just don't always recognize it. Now, I really believe if you keep thinking about something and it keeps coming into your mind, that whatever is coming into your mind is around you. When I was in Japan and they witnessed some of the things that I did, a lot of these things that I did out there have never been really put out because it was all in Japanese, and I don't know, just I did it for me, really, to know what I was capable of. I didn't need everyone else to know. It was for me to know. And so it was confidence for me, for my own self. But when I was in Japan and they witnessed some of the things that I did, and I jokingly said, E.T. wants to go home. Oh, they all come trotting in around me, pulling out my arm. Ah, Roswell. And I thought, oh no, you're not digging them little needles into my arm. But straight away, they were on it. They were on it. And they recognized something about me that they, you know, was a little bit out of the ordinary, shall we say. And over the years, I've had so many experiences where I've seen things, you know, when they've come in, when I've been doing healing, and I hadn't told the person at the time because, you know, don't forget, years ago, this sort of thing, you know, it wasn't the done thing. It was hard enough being this way, thinking they were going to label me as a witch with waving garlic at me to bring in a few aliens as well. No, I didn't want to. And I was in the People paper. This must have been 1999, about aliens, not the article that I really wanted. I told the truth, but they made a joke out of it. But you know what? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they asked me something. What they did with it and how they interpreted it, I still told the truth. And that is still dated as part of my journey. Now, aliens. We are all aliens to whoever is looking at us. I mean, we are aliens to them. So the word alien means whoever we're looking at, or whoever's looking at us, means we're different. So let's get away from this big, big thing. The fact of the matter is, if we can see them, if we can sense them, they can sense us. If we can feel them, they can feel us. But let's get one thing straight. And I know for a fact that whenever they come in around me, and the help that they've given me is far more advanced than anything around now. And the technology and the things that I've seen, and I will write about it. And I'm not afraid to write about it. At my age, who cares? I will write about it. And I always tell the truth. And you know something about the key? You know, remember the key to getting into another place, and the foundation, the left eye and the right eye. It's slightly different with bringing in the, as I said, we're aliens, that to these special entities. Then they are special, and when they come in around you, they need much more gentle. They're very gentle, and they need you to be. You couldn't be in a bad place then. You've got to meditate and get yourself in a higher place before they can cope with it. They can't cope with it. They cannot cope with our world as it is. Our world as it is, it's like putting them into a boiling pot. And sometimes I've had to work in circumstances. We've always been renovating houses, couldn't afford it done up. But anyway, that's part of the journey. So where would I be? At the end of the garden in a shed. And when I was in the shed, I was at one in that shed. Wasn't posh or nothing, but it was quiet. And then I could feel things. Go back into the house with the banging and the noise and the workmen. No, I couldn't. And I've noticed that as I've got more and more closer to them, what they need from me is even more higher in my mind, higher in myself. And say I wasn't very well, I wouldn't be able to reach enough to them to work with them then. They can help me build myself up, but they can't cope with the world, our health as it is. Now, that brings in the Tomorrow's World Medicine. The Tomorrow's World Medicine, remember, is in tomorrow's world, and the starting point is there. They haven't had all these drugs, all these inoculations, changing the immune system, another one for this. You can't keep changing people's immune system, up, down, But in the future, it's not like that. So I'm stuck in the middle because I can't get into trouble either. So I'm stuck in the middle of tomorrow's world, working with what I know is far, far much more advanced. And the key to get into it is even more to stay away from the hassle, people pecking at me, moaning at me, you know, and I can't. They can't cope with it. They like me peaceful, happy in this environment in here. This has been built especially for extreme sensitive energies that come in. It's not posh, but it's special. Special for me because I waited 35 years for it. You know, and that's another thing. What you've got to remember is with them, the abilities that they have, their health condition, remember, they start right from millions of years ago. Their health condition, their aging goes on and on and on and on. You know, they're not, you know, their joints, their bodies. I mean, okay, I'm 74. Okay, I don't look 24, but I sure as heck don't look 74. And people were saying, oh, you know, you've had Botox, you've had this. No, I haven't. Look, you know, I'm wrinkly, but not as wrinkly as I could be, I suppose. But now you think, but don't forget, I'm bringing in this energy now when I've already had the past that I've had. Imagine in the future where you haven't had all that, you know, where you haven't had all this negativity, really strong drugs and everything. The starting point of tomorrow's world medicine is pure. It's pure. It's what it was originally, where the body was designed to heal itself. With now, it's not, the starting point isn't pure, is it? So you can't expect to get the same results totally from tomorrow's world medicine today, because it's not possible. But it's certainly very, very much better. And it's not just what you look like, it's what you feel like. You know, people say, oh, you're always laughing, you're always giggling about. Well, yeah, I am. What are you laughing at? Well, stupid stuff, really. You know, nothing that maybe anybody else would laugh about. It's the light. It's the light. It's staying in the energy. It's staying in that energy. And even now, you know, this energy now is all around you. It's all around you. You can't see it, but maybe you can. Maybe you can sense it. But you've got to be aware of it and ask for it. Ask, what do you want? What do you want? Do you want to be part of this tomorrow's world with the ancient, oh, well, I don't even like calling them aliens, but they are, but then so are we. The joining then of the aliens that are on a higher level. Now, remember, we've got all different nationalities, down here. There's not just one alien. There's not just one. There's many of them. And not all of them are light. I don't have nothing to do with the dark. I don't even think about the dark. I don't want to know about the dark. I only want to go with my brain that's been trained for so many years. I want to go to reach the light. I want to go to feel the lightness of them, the love of them. I don't want nothing to do with the others. Now, if you think like that, you will bring in the equivalent of your guardian angel. Now, I believe, I can only tell you what I've learned myself, what I've believed and what I've worked with. I can't do no more because that's all I've got. But I can tell you now, the working with these different ones together, the top ones of these, bringing them in together. So working with that for one thing, working for that, all the light. As long as you go to the light, it's all light. They, you know, light workers. Why do they call them light workers? They don't call them dark workers, do they? Let's get all the dark workers together. Oh, what for? Who wants that? You know, no, the light. It's always the light. Always go to the light. And if you keep that in your mind and bear in mind that the light aliens like everything very, very gentle, very, very sensitive. And if you feel that you've had an experience with them, you probably have. Why people say, oh, you know, I've got a real vivid imagination? The energies work with the right brain. And what is the right brain? It is the imagination. So therefore, is it your imagination? Or is it that they're working and giving you the information through your right brain? People have out-of-body experiences, people have dreams, and everything of any far going. It's not when they're sitting working it out, reading this and reading that. Oh yeah, they will get a story together and it will go in the back of their mind, but it's regurgitated information. It's not new stuff. It's not a good thing to keep reading and logically working out things. Let it run free. Let it run free and then see what comes back to you. And if you keep thinking, you know what, when I'm in that room, I can sense more. Well, go in that room then. Or when I'm in that room, oh no, you know what, no, nothing happens in that room. Well, it might be that there's somebody in that room, or there's something in that room that is negative that they don't like. They can't help it. Why put them through that? Give them what they need to help you. Give them the respect. I always respect them. They don't like the bright lights. And when I'm doing the healing, if I want to see what they're doing, I always say to everybody, lights out, lights out. And then I know they're here now, but I can, when the lights are out, I can see, I can be more part of the things. So, do I believe in aliens? Yes, I do. I can't absolutely say 100% that they are far, far, far. It's just, there's just the difference between their technology and their understanding and what they know. It makes us look like insects. I'm really sorry, but it does. But then it's not our fault, is it? At the end of the day, we are where we are. But it is our fault if we don't say, oh, you know, what can we learn then? What can we learn from these different things? Meditation, higher energies, learn from the masters. Learn from the masters, the ones that have already proved themselves in the past. Don't bother with anything that hasn't already shown you an experience that you know couldn't have happened. Now, I'm going to take you off now. I know we've gone on, but I think it's important to know that while they're there, which they have been, tonight I knew this room would be full. And I've just gone with it. But bearing in mind, whatever this room is full with is an accumulation of light. Nothing that will hurt you. So before you go to sleep tonight, if you say in your mind that you want to understand more and feel more, remember the key. The key is you do not put them through a situation where they're going to be uncomfortable and agitated. You make sure that you sow the seeds for a very, very gentle mind. Get your mind gentle first. Get everything really, really slow down your brain. Slow everything so that you're totally at peace to allow them around you. If you don't do that, it's not fair. You can't expect something to blend with you. If you go into another country, you blend in around that country, don't you? You know, you respect. You're asking them to come into air country, air aura. Respect them. Well, I love them. And I know a lot of people that do love them. And funny enough, the people that do love them, they love them. You just know. It's, you know, when you say you know things, you just know. And you just know that they are there to help us in the world as it is today, and how hard it is for them to come in around it, how much they actually do want to help us. They absolutely do. So tonight, I want you to shut your eyes now, but I want you to be in no doubt whatsoever that you have been inhaling something much more on a different level than normal, but I'm going to activate it now. So I want you to ask in your mind. Remember, your mind is the powerful. You're connecting up. I'm not going to ask for you. You're connecting up. You do it. What do you want? What do you need? Don't ask for money, because money will take you off course. Ask for your needs to be met. Ask to be helped. Health, spiritual development, to feel better, to look better. Why not? Who wants to look decrepit? Blow this growing old gracefully. Why? No, no thanks. So, slow everything all down. Remember, put your left eye into your right eye and take that with you. That thought is there and it will not go. Just drain the sanctuary before you go to bed. Drain the sanctuary. It gets filled up. As fast as you take it out, it gets filled up. I can feel the blood, your blood bubbling. It's like, oh, it's all light and bubble, bubble, which is the immune system, of course. If Andrew can come through all that, why not you? Some of you might be in a worse situation, but why not you? This is what you've got to say. Why not me? Why can't? No, why not? I've gone on a little bit longer because one, I don't know what the time is when I'm out of it, and two, I just didn't finish what I was doing, and I wanted to finish it all. So, all of you, what you've asked for has been listened to, and all of you have got a cloak of protection all around you to help you. And remember, keep everything simple, simple and light. Music, laughter, animals are very therapeutic. The sea, walking in the grass, watching the sunlight and the moon. All those things are so beautiful. Make the most of it. They don't cost anything. The most important things in life that feed us are free. It's all out there. You just have to learn to walk it and bring it towards you. Okay, then. So I hope you've all enjoyed the experience. I'm going to leave you now. Thank you for listening to my journey. And I hope you have gained some insight to help you on your own. Okay, bye.